we would ask you to take a look at the following mandates. We consider them relatively low-hanging mandates reform through. Allow towns and cities to post legal and other notices on their websites rather than in newspapers. At the very least, state law should be amended to allow municipalities to publish a notice of the availability of particular documents on their websites instead of having to publish the entire contents of legal notices. Again, allow municipalities that are supposed to conduct revaluations in the next 2 years, allow them to have a year delay. Previous speakers have gone at length about that, particularly communities that have to conduct a physical reval. Because not only will there be a whammy in regard to the new valuations, but also the cost of those revaluations, which on average cost over $200,000 a year. Postpone the high school reform measures that were passed in anticipation of getting federal race to the top funds. Again, we did not receive those funds. I think it's unfair when we have a difficulty sustaining financing our existing K-12 public education system to layer on new unfunded requirements on schools. Again, enact a statutory prohibition against new unfunded state mandates, particularly during this recessionary period. Make it more difficult for state government to enact public policy at the expense of local property taxpayers without putting state money behind it. And just quickly to sum up, the pilot MME issue, again, that's another state mandate. State mandate where municipalities are not allowed to tax manufacturing machinery and equipment. The governor has proposed a $48 million elimination of that reimbursement program. We're confident that working with OPM and the governor's office, we can try to ameliorate the impact on towns and cities of that funding loss, but it's critically important for a large number of communities that are still manufacturing dependent. And lastly, Dr. Streifer and others have talked about the totality of education mandates that exist in Connecticut. Many of them well-intended, again, without the needed funding, at a time when we're really starving our regular and special education programs in Connecticut.
Both the state and towns facing fiscal crisis, mandate relief is really the only thing that the state can provide the towns to help us preserve jobs and the day-to-day services we provide at the local level. And it can be done at zero cost to the state. Without sufficient money to balance your own budget, and in lieu of increasing aid to the municipalities, swiftly reducing the burden of unfunded mandates is exactly what must be done to help us maintain both public employment and public service at the local level.
Furthermore, our request is that you oppose any unfunded mandates at both the state and federal level and look back on old and new mandates to determine whether or not they're still necessary. Every local government understands and appreciates the regulations in some form are necessary. However, the increased regulations without the associated resources is unacceptable. Is an unacceptable burden to our community.
Again, I just beseech you on behalf of towns and cities, I know many of you have heard this over and over again from your own local officials, we need help now, not tomorrow.